Hey everybody, Matt Covert here again from howtobecome-a-racecar-driver.com, and I just made a video that was all about using data as opposed to just guessing and hoping for positive change in your car. And in this one I'm going to tell you exactly what I do and how I use data to make real quick positive changes to my car. And I'm excited to share this with you because you don't see a lot of these things at the track, and this stuff will definitely help you out. Okay, so let's hop right on in. This is going to give you real, actionable information that you can implement into your racing program immediately, and those are my favorite ones. I love that. So let's talk about what I'm doing. Number one, I don't like that circle. I'm going to make another one. There we go. Number one, the first thing I do, and this is something I do after every single run, I take 12 tire temperature readings, and I do it like this. Let's say we're looking down on a tire, okay, I take a reading on the inside tread, middle tread, and outside tread. Okay, and there's a video about how to do this and why it works, and I'll link to that so you can hop to that if you want to see it. Okay, this will help you find your, this will help you stay inside your optimal temperatures. People don't realize it, but the driver has a huge amount of control over what temperature the tires stay at while he's driving. And he needs to stay inside these optimal temperatures, and that's really important. If you go outside of them, you're either leaving grip on the table if they're too cold and you're not driving hard enough, or if they're too hot, you need to chill a little bit. Okay? This will also help you find your perfect tire pressures, and that's really the important thing. The thing that I use it for the most is dialing in the right pressures for your tires. Okay? The contact patch of a tire, I know we've gone over all this stuff in other videos, but the part of the tire that actually touches the ground surface is the contact patch. That is the only thing connecting your car to the ground. If the pressures aren't right, then you're really losing out. There isn't much touching the ground, and your pressures will help maximize that contact patch. You want the whole tread section to be touching the ground, and that's the goal there. Okay? So, taking 12 tire temperatures will help you do this. Like I said, I'll link to the video so you can... we won't do that again. I've already done that in a video. Okay? So, the second thing that I do, and this stems off of tire temperatures again. There's so much information to be had from just reading the temperatures of your tire. It's incredible, okay? The car's balance. We'll just put temps again. Okay? This has helped me dial in the anti-roll bar or sway bar settings of my car, and I'll show you why. A neutral handling car, there's a video about that too, a neutral handling car has the same amount of slip in the front tires and the rear tires, and there's a video about slip angles too. Man, all kinds of awesome information coming out of it. I am really excited about giving you all this free information, so I'll link to that slip angles video as well because that's really important. Let's see, when I got my BRZ, I have a 2013 BRZ, which I've been racing. I like it. There's things I don't like about it, but since I'm in a street category, I can't change them, so I'm working with what I have, and that's the whole point of this website. Driver skill over throwing money at the car. When I first got the car, I'm going to use some theoretical numbers because I don't have my data sheets in front of me, but I saw this all the time for the first couple races before I started dialing things in, okay? When I came off the track, my front tires were always hotter than the rear tires. And that's an indication that the front of the car is doing more work than the rear of the car because they're producing more friction, which means more heat, and that's why they're hotter. Okay? And I don't like that because that means the car is understeering all the time. And that's not good. That's not a balanced car. Okay? So, because I was taking tire information, I was able to see this as well as feel it. Okay, so what I did was I put a big rear bar on because 9 times out of 10, a bigger rear bar will help the car oversteer. Okay, and so I started seeing temperatures a little closer, even within 10 degrees often, which was great. And you could feel the difference was huge. It had better rotation into corner entry under braking. It was much quicker through the slalom sections, okay? And this is an example of using real data to tune your car, okay? Without these numbers, you would just be guessing, okay? And I'll give you an example of, let me just do a quick tuning example. Okay, the BRZ, the Subaru BRZ and the Scion FRS are virtually identical aesthetically, okay? But the BRZ has a natural tendency to understeer, and the FRS has a natural tendency to oversteer. So even though people think these corporate sisters are exactly the same, they are not. They have very different spring rates when they come out of the factory. That's basically the only difference between them, all right? So I know a guy who has an FRS. He's a winner. He's an incredible driver. I look up to him. He mentors me whenever he's around. His FRS is remarkable. He has it tuned very, very well. He has a giant front sway bar to help curb that natural oversteer, okay? So if someone is using that monkey vision that I talked about in the last video, the video of data versus guessing, if some people are just monkey visioning these two cars because they think they're the same, and they put a giant front sway bar on the BRZ, it's going to make the car horrible because that is just compounding the natural tendency of this car to understeer. All right? Without this data, you don't really know. Even two cars that are virtually identical, they're not going to have the same tuning preferences. And this is something you really have to understand because this goes for anything. Someone's Miata versus a 3 Series BMW or whatever you have, okay? Just because the cars are basically the same, they don't all respond to the same tuning preferences. So keep that in mind. That's really important. This is why we use data. We're using data because our car is unique. And just because something is working for someone else, it doesn't mean it's going to work for us. You want to make positive scientific change based on really solid theory and strategy. And that's what this is for. And I love this stuff, okay? Let me go on to another one. Let's move on to the third one. I think this is going to be a longer video than normal, but that's okay. Tons of free information. And I'm just excited to share whatever I've learned with whoever is going to listen. So I'm going to keep on going here. Okay, let's talk about choosing tires. There are a lot of good autocross tires out there right now. All right? And there are all kinds of people talking about it on forums. There's a separate video all about forums somewhere. I'd stay away from forums. I'll talk about that at some other point, though. So how do you know what tire to pick? Okay, you can talk to all the guys who have them, all the guys who like them. 95% of people who are racing autocross have only used one tire, and they have no idea what the other ones are like, okay? So their opinions don't really matter because they haven't done any type of scientific comparison, okay? That's why I defer to experts like the Tire Rack, who every year they take all kinds of autocross tires and test them on the same vehicle, and they give you great data plots and all kinds of information about which tire is actually better. There's a link to a really good article they did with all kinds of graphs and spider charts and all that kind of stuff that makes me really excited. So I'm going to put a link to that so you can go see which tire is actually better. I used the Dunlop Dureza last year. I'm going to do it again this year because it is the best. No questions asked on that one. Okay? Choosing the right size tire, though, that's up to you because you do have a number of options. If you're in a street class, you can use whatever tire fits on the rim. You can go up a rim size. You cannot change the width. So you have to choose what size you want your tire to be. Okay? Let's use an example. My factory tire size, I think, is a 215 45 R17. I'm going to go with 17 wheels again this year, okay? But I have a really neat option. I'm going to jump up to the 225. Okay? And why would I do that? This is the factory size. There's a very good reason to do this, okay? And I'm not doing it based on a guess. I'm doing it based on data that comes specifically from Dunlop. And I think, I'm going to try and switch screens here. I think I can show you some real, yeah, look at that, real information from Dunlop. This is on the Tire Rack website about the Dureza tire. See this little red dot? That shows you the factory tire size for my BRZ. All right, and you can see over here that this is a 8-inch tread width, which is good, okay? But if I hop up to the next size, which will fit on my rim, 7-inch rim, if I hop up to that, my tread width jumps up to 8.2. And while that doesn't seem like a lot, let's go back to the other screen here. While that doesn't seem like a lot, let's talk about contact patch for a second, all right? If this is a tire looking down from above on the tire, this is the only part of the tire here that is actually touching the ground, okay? So what we're doing is we're going from here to here. Last year I had 8-inch tire, and now I'm going to add 0.2 inches onto the side of that, okay? this isn't very, this is probably only a 2 or 3 inch section right here that goes all the way across. Adding almost a 1/4 inch onto the side of that on all 4 tires is going to make a big difference, okay? And I'm not just guessing on this either. This is something that I talked to a multi-autocross champion about. That's what he did last year on these. He has the FRS, and he jumped up to the 225s, and he loved it. He said the difference was absolutely incredible. We're talking about a 10 millimeter difference here. Okay, 10 millimeters, 0.2 inches, doesn't seem like a lot, but it's going to rock your world, and that's really exciting, okay? So here we have 3 great examples in the street category where you can't really make a whole lot of changes. 3 great examples of using real data to make real changes for positive improvement, and that's what we're striving for all the time. And I think I'm going to end there. There's a ton of awesome information in this video. Watch this video again. It's really long. It's the longest one yet. I think it's going to be about 11 minutes long, okay? If you haven't, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. You'll never miss another video like this ever again. There isn't anything else out there on the internet as far as I know like this. So go ahead and subscribe. I'll give you a link. We'll put it somewhere right there in the middle. And I'll be back soon with another video from howtobecomeracecar driver.com.